guys, welcome to Easy to Keto. So today I felt like I needed something sweet. So I'm going to be making Malai Kulfi. Now if you don't know what Malai Kulfi is, it's a delicious popsicle of sorts, but it's super creamy and just really rich and dense. And it's kind of like an ice cream popsicle on a stick, but it's got Indian flavors in it, mainly saffron and cardamom. Super delicious. And we're gonna make it keto today. So my husband and I have been on our keto lifestyle and our keto journey for about a little over 2.5 years now. And I love sharing all my keto recipes, a lot of vegetarian recipes also. And if you're new to the channel, please be sure you take a second and hit that subscribe button and hit that bell icon so you'll be the first to know every time I post a new recipe. But today we're making Keto Malai Kulfi. So very simple ingredients for this recipe. I have 1 cup of heavy whipping cream I have in a microwave safe bowl. And to the heavy whipping cream, I'm adding 1/2 cup of erythritol. And this is the sweetener of my choice, but you could possibly use any sweetener that you have on hand, any low carb sweetener. And erythritol usually has a little bit of a cooling aftertaste. And to kind of combat that, I have some, this is also erythritol based. It's by Whole Earth. This is a monk fruit and stevia sweetener. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the flavor of monk fruit or stevia for that matter, because I feel like the aftertaste on those 2 items is considerably more than the aftertaste I get from erythritol. But by adding just a little bit of this to the erythritol, it kind of neutralizes both. So you don't get the flavor of the stevia and the monk fruit, and you don't get that really weird, sharp, cooling aftertaste of the erythritol. Don't know why, but it works. So I'm going to use about 4 of these, and we tend to like our desserts a little on the sweeter side, so that's completely up to taste. You can cut that down or you can add more if you like. And now I'm also adding some cardamom. Now cardamom is a super fragrant spice. It's amazing. Just a little bit goes a long way, and they usually come in pods, or I buy in bulk like this in seeds. And I just took my mortar and pestle, a 1/4 teaspoon of the seeds, and just crushed it down into a fine powder. And when you crush down, cardamom usually increases in volume. So I started with just a 1/4 teaspoon of the seeds, and then it's probably about 1/2 teaspoon already powdered. So here goes in. And finally, I have some saffron. Now, saffron is super expensive, so you have to use just a little bit at a time because, again, the flavor is very strong and a little goes a long way. So I'm taking just a little pinch, like so. And I'm just gonna crush it between my fingers lightly and add that in. Now it doesn't look like much, but once that gets heated, the flavor as well as the color, like a nice orange saffron color, will start to emerge. So I have a little whisk, just gonna blend that together. Until the erythritol dissolves. And once the erythritol is nicely mixed in here, I'm gonna go to my microwave, put that in there, and I'm gonna put this for 3 minutes to start with. So I ended up stopping this at 2.5 minutes because it was in danger of overflowing. So it depends on what kind of container you're using. If it's a large enough container, then it can go all the way till 3 minutes, but this is a little bit smaller. So I'm gonna give this a good mix. And if you notice, it's become a little bit lighter than that heavy, thick whipped cream, and that's because of the erythritol. It's melting in there, and that's exactly how we want it. So once you have that whisk, we're gonna go back to the microwave, put it in for another minute. Now it's already hot, so keep an eye on it. You don't want it to overflow because it's gonna happen really fast. But 1 more minute in the microwave, and we'll check it out then. It's another minute. Now see how nice that color has become? It's got a nice yellow color, and that is because of the saffron. It's finally taking effect. And it smells amazing, and the color is just blooming in there. So while the mixture is still hot, I'm going to add a couple of things in it. First thing is xanthan gum. Now, xanthan gum is a great ingredient to keep on hand. It improves the texture of baked goods and of sauces, and it's kind of like a thickening agent. It doesn't have a lot of flavor, so it doesn't affect anything except the texture. And like this box is a few dollars and has little packets like this, which last forever because you have to use just ever so little bit. So I'm going to add in a 1/4 teaspoon. So it's very little. Like that. Sprinkle it on and whisk. And the other ingredient, I have some Kerrygold butter. Now this is salted butter. I usually just buy the salted. It comes in salted and unsalted, but whenever I make desserts, I like to use salted butter just because that little hint of salt really brings out the flavor and the sweetness of desserts. So just about 1 tablespoon of this butter. Again, into this hot liquid, and we're gonna whisk it until it melts. Okay, and the butter is nicely melted in there. So I'm gonna keep this whole mixture to the side, and we're gonna let it cool down just a little bit. And while that's cooling down, I also have another bowl right here with 1 additional cup of heavy whipping cream in here. And it's very cold. It's a cold whipping cream right out of the refrigerator. So I'm gonna whisk this until I get nice stiff peaks from the whipping cream. And that is perfect, super thick whipped cream. So our final step is going to be incorporating the two, but this is still super hot. I can even try an ice bath. I just have a little pan with ice and water. I'm just going to put that in here and keep whisking so that cold water will cool down this liquid. And now it's time to incorporate our whipped cream into this whipped cream mixture. So I'm just going to take a little bit at a time, add it in, and just incorporate. Gently. And look at the texture. It's super light and super airy. And this is ready for our mold. So now here's the fun part. If you have a popsicle mold like this, then these work great. It's just like something you pick up from the dollar store. I'm not going to fill it all the way because it tends to expand as it freezes. And clearly I have a lot more left over than would fit in my popsicle mold. So I'm going to finish these off first. And keep this to the side. And I have a mini muffin tray. So what I'm gonna do is just fill this up as many as gets filled up, and then these are gonna be like great fat bombs, just the right little size, and if you just need to get your macros in order, then it's gonna be perfect. So that filled up nearly all of my muffin tray, and that's perfect. I've got my popsicle stand, and this is all gonna go into the freezer, and once it freezes, we'll be back to check on it. So it's been a couple of hours, and I just pulled the popsicles out of the freezer, and I just ran some room temperature water over it just to release it a little bit. And let's give it a try here. There we go. It's a nice creamy looking popsicle. Look at that, looks so yummy. Give this a try. You know, that little bit of xanthan gum really improved the texture of this so much. It's so creamy, and it doesn't feel like that icy hard popsicle, what a normal popsicle feels like. In fact, it tastes just like a kulfi, which is supposed to be really dense and really super creamy and super delicious. And the cardamom flavor is just so good. It's like yummy. So now these, I probably realized that I should invest in some silicone cupcake holders, because I'm realizing that this is probably not that great of an idea. And let me try to see if I can pop this out. There we go. So it does pop out. It's not the prettiest, but if you take all of these and kind of put them in a container, that way the next time you need a fat bomb, it just comes out and they're all separated. This would be perfect, but not bad. So if you like this video and you want to see more, then be sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon so that every time I post a new video, you will be the first to know. And if you like it, give it a big thumbs up. I would surely appreciate it. What do you think?
It's really good.
Yeah? Awesome. So remember, it's easy to keto if you know how. Thanks for watching. Bye.